Welcome to New Life Live with Stephen Arterburn. For 35 years, New Life has been transforming lives one at a time thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's today's host, Becky Brown.
Hello, everybody. I'm so glad you joined us, and whatever way you're listening, I know we got lots of podcast listeners as well as those that are listening online and our radio listeners. We're grateful for all of you. If you want to call us, we are taking calls Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday from 1 to 3 p.m. Eastern, 1-800-229-3000. And so I just say that because, you know, you're listening, you probably are thinking about stuff you got to get off your chest, and we want to be there to help you with whatever the next steps are. And by we, today, I am joined by Laura Mangin-McDonald and JJ West. They both are speakers at our Intimacy and Marriage Intensive, and Laura also speaks at our Restore Intensive, JJ at our Every Man's Battle. Hi, you guys. I'm so glad you're here. Laura, I know that you got something on your mind and your heart that you want to share with the listeners. What is on your mind and heart today?
Well, you know me well, Becky, because I'm always thinking and hearing. And so really what's been on my mind since the first of the year is self-awareness. And without self-awareness, we are groping in the dark. And self-awareness isn't something we just pops into our head. Self-awareness is a learned behavior. And the verse the Lord really put on my heart about this was Hebrews 12:1, where it talks about to throw off anything that hinders us and to run our race, right, with perseverance. However, then what I felt I heard in my spirit was unhealed trauma hinders us in our race. And it keeps us from the self-awareness we need to understand ourselves, which self-awareness must precede other awareness. We cannot have other awareness without understanding self-awareness. And so what is hindering us? What's in my way? What's keeping me from understanding me, that's keeping me from connecting, especially with the intimacy and marriage coming up? What's connecting with my partner? Because hurting people hurt people, and unhealed trauma, we're hurt. And we are going to, and here's the other part of the verse, that entangles us in sin. And that's kind of makes seem kind of harsh to some, right? But we are hurting people, hurt people. We're going to sin when we have unhealed trauma. And so our ability to have that self-awareness will enable us to have other awareness and connect and to feel, to have the freedom to be seen, heard, and understood and live a pretty darn good life.
Yeah.
We do.
You know, Laura, it reminds me of what you and JJ talk about intimacy and marriage. When we talk about self-awareness, we talk about all of the ways that we can describe how we feel inside. JJ, you know, those soul words can help us connect, and that's part of that self-awareness. What would you add to what Laura is talking about with this self-awareness idea?
Well, you're absolutely right. Those soul words do help me to identify what's going on inside of me and then to be able to share that with someone else. But like Laura said, if I am not self-aware, if I haven't taken the time to look inside, then my focus will always be, you're the problem, I need to get you fixed, you have to do something different, and then I stay stuck because I'm not looking at my own junk that I'm bringing to the table.
Right. Yeah.
Well, and that's what we help people do.
Unhealed trauma. Yeah.
Yeah, we help people unpack those things that keep us stuck in that painful experience. It's really an amazing intensive. JJ and Laura do a great job, and the couples that go there say it is more than just a, marriage, weekend where you just renew your vows. We don't do that, by the way. But what we do is we teach you practical information that's going to radically change not only your marriage, but the relationships you have with other people as well. We're so grateful to offer it. You can join us in February. We'll be right back after this break.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit it's addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have Christ-centered partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back. I'm so glad that you joined us. We're going to be taking calls. We're going to go to a call right now. We're going to talk to Mark, who's calling us from San Antonio, Texas. He's a new caller, and I'm glad you called. Mark, how can we help you today?
Hey guys, I'm calling in to keep a promise I made to JJ. I actually attended the Every Man's Battle intensive in Washington, D.C. last weekend, and I had to talk to JJ in a shuttle ride on the way back to the airport on the last day. So one thing I told him was, man, I'm glad I went beforehand. It was just something that was incredibly intimidating. It was like a mountain before me to even try to tackle what I was going to encounter. And I told the guys in my group while I was there, I hadn't even Googled any of the things that I was, going to encounter because I was pretty intimidated by them. I just wanted to jump in. I was already committed to go, and I wanted to make good on that commitment. And I wanted to lessen the anxiety, frankly, before I attended. But I say all that to say I couldn't be more happy that it happened the way it did, and I was able to attend when I was able to attend. And if anybody going, it's worth it. It's worth it.
Yeah. Well, JJ, you want to pick up on that conversation you had with Mark in the shuttle?
I so much do. And Mark, thank you for calling. But more than that, thank you for going. It was so great to meet you, and it was great to have that conversation on the way back to the airport. And like he said, we talked about the fact that there's so many guys out there who they're not just on the fence. They're like staunchly not wanting to go. They are terrified, full of anxiety, full of shame. I don't know what to expect. I don't know what I'm going to encounter. It's going to be awkward. It's going to be uncomfortable. I don't want to talk about these things. And so they're sitting there going, man, I want to stay away from this. And I believe that for each and every one of you, your experience will be like Mark. And Mark said it so well. Like after the fact, right after he got there, he realized, man, I couldn't be happier that I made the decision to come. Even though I may have made that decision through, gritted teeth, I'm so glad that I did and followed through on that because the Lord had something far greater for me than what I anticipated. So, man, thank you for being there.
Yeah. We're so glad that you called, Mark. And I'm just kind of curious because I wasn't at Every Man's Battle. I'm kind of curious, Mark, are you married? Are you in a relationship with a woman?
Yes, ma'am. I got married.
Okay.
It's my second wife. I got remarried in June of 23, so pretty fresh.
Okay. All right. Well, that's the reason why I'm asking. Laura, would you like to inform Mark of what a next step might be for he and his wife?
Well, let's see, Mark. There's this intimacy in marriage coming up that would be wonderful for you all to add on to what you learned in Every Man's Battle, because we get into the attachment styles and your core patterns of relating, and possibly, that if you all had any fights, you can learn a lot about that. It would be one of the greatest gifts you could give your wife to say, I love you, I'm committed to you, and moving forward, we're going to walk in the freedom we're promised.
Well, we hope that you'll join us, Mark. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, I talked about the restore I don't know what you call it, but it's like, I guess.
It's called Restore.
Yeah.
Yeah. Laura, you can talk about that as well.
Well, I sure can. For her to be able to go to Restore, and I don't know what her history is, if she's had, betrayal trauma or something like that, but she could certainly learn about herself, learn more about you, and because we explain to the ladies who attend what the guys do in every man's battle and how they get onto the road to their own individual recovery, and that she could work on her individual recovery because we all need to be in recovery, but specifically if she's had any betrayal trauma in her history. It's a great place to connect with other women. And, I just want to add, our groups are so unique because we have a platform presentation, but then the participants have an opportunity to go into individual group with licensed therapists. And that's where they then apply the skills and the information that they're hearing from the main platform. And it's a game changer. I send all of my clients to these intensives because they are so unique and so powerful.
That's awesome. Well, thank you, Mark, for calling in, and we'll get you all the information for those intensives. JJ, do you have a book you want us to send Mark? You get to pick.
Well, I would love to send him Shelley's book, Restored. I think that would, or Rescued.
Rescued.
Yeah,
we'll
sorry.
We'll send it
I always
to
get
you,
the title
Mark.
mixed up. Yeah, I think
that's okay. I do the same thing.
As a gift to your wife, I think that would be a great follow-up step.
Very good. All right. Well, thanks for calling, Mark. Thanks for going and taking the risk. If you want information about Every Man's Battle, give us a call, 1-800-NEW-LIFE, and we'll get you connected. We're going to go back to the calls, and we're going to talk with Anna, who's calling us from Los Angeles, listens on KKLA. Hello, Anna. I'm glad you called, and how can we help you today? Hi.
Yes, I just had a question. Is it wrong to not want to be in the relationship? Especially, he's already stated that he didn't want the marriage. He's been married for 20. Did I say that already? 28 years.
No.
And, I offered him the Every Man's Battle. I didn't ask him to go. I told him to go, and he just refused. He just refused any type of help.
And you guys have been married 28 years, Anna?
Yes. And the only reason we're still together is because of our finances, and that's kind of like has us locked in a sense.
Do you have children together too, Anna?
Yes. We have 5 young adults. One left. One left to another state. And a lot of it has to do with, she's hurt. She's hurt about everything that's gone, and she's doing the same thing as her, they're drinking, just numbing their situation, their problem.
So, Anna, your question, how can we best help you in this situation?
Right. So, is it wrong, not wanting to be in marriage anymore?
Well, it's a challenge. Your heart is broken. JJ, how would you start this response to Anna?
Yeah. Hey, Anna, thank you for your call. It was interesting the way you phrased your question. Is it wrong to not want to be in the marriage anymore? Which is curious, because what you're asking there is my feeling wrong? Is the emotion that I'm experiencing or the desire that I have wrong? And that's actually a question that comes up in Scripture. In the book of James, in chapter 4, verses 1-3, he talks about how there's a conflict in our relationships. And he says, where does this conflict come from? And he says, don't they come from the desires that you have within you? That there are desires that you have that either you haven't asked for, and so you don't have what you want, or you've asked with wrong motives. In other words, you have this desire that's selfish, that's self-centered. And so I think that it's 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 okay for us to feel what we feel. Like, we can't control our feelings. It's okay for us to feel what we feel, but what I'm focused on, what I choose to desire, what I choose to focus my thoughts on, that's a really good question to wrestle with and to ask God, is it selfish for me to want to not be in this relationship anymore? Is it selfish or self-centered, or not? And from what you've shared so far, I don't know automatically the answer to that, but it sounds like you're saying that there's been a lot of collateral damage. There's been damage to each other, but there's also been damage to our children. And it's hard to watch that. And to me, that doesn't sound like it's birthed out of a selfish desire. It may be a combination. It may be that some of it is, I don't want to hurt anymore. That's maybe a self-centered or self-focused. But I also don't want to see the people that I love, especially my children, suffering. And that doesn't sound selfish to me. Now, it's also important to identify the fact that there's a difference between my desire and what I do. Just because I have a desire for something doesn't mean I automatically act on it, right? I can walk by the bakery and have a desire to go in and eat everything that they're serving, but I don't have to act on that. Okay, I need to choose whether or not that acting on that desire is good for me, is part of God's will for me. So anyway, it's just interesting the way that you asked the question wasn't so much, is it okay for me to leave him, get a divorce, whatever, but is it wrong for me to want this? And I think that's where we turn the camera inward to say, God, am I being selfish here or not? And ask and let him answer that for us, and let him lead us to the answer. Mm-hmm. Laura?
So Anna, how does that hit you?
Very well. I totally agree with what he's saying. Yes.
And then, what do you?
What for the Lord, I have to question it, and I have. There's a lot of times I've come up to the Lord and asked him, and I know of one time he did say, you need to show him my love through you. At one point, that was like in the middle of the years, but now it's like I teach my daughters. I go, you don't force love. If someone's gonna love you, they're gonna love you and show you. Like, you don't have to run after man. Man will show you if they love you.
Agreed.
Right.
Well,
right.
Also, isn't Anna, saying that he doesn't want the marriage? Did I hear you say that correctly at the beginning of the call, that he doesn't want to be in the marriage? He's unwilling to deal
And that's
with...
when he talks in his toxic behavior. When he's
right. So, it sounds like he says he is not committed to you. Is that correct? Right. So he's making the decision.
He's drinking and other things he's done in the past, but then he'll tell me, I'm not doing that anymore, but stays home and he stays distant from us. He doesn't communicate with us, other than what to eat and finances. That's it.
Well, if he's not in recovery, it's just crazy making talk. And if, you get involved in that and you just start, it's like a hamster running in a cage. It's just the same stuff.
That's true.
It's So that's just crazy making, and there's no end to that.
Right. So I don't engage in that. I move away and I leave.
Right. But what's happened, though?
Getting help?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
Yes, he does, but he does not want to. He doesn't want to get help. But the other day he was sharing that with somebody on the phone, and says, I don't know where to go and help. And then it drawn to me like, well, you can, like, we listen to New Life. You can, choose resources like this to help you and change your perspective on things.
Anna, what about you?
Crazy making.
Anna, what about you as far as you getting help on your own, as opposed to, I know, we do want couples to work together, but what happens in this dynamic is you're waiting for him to do what you probably need to do because somebody has to have clarity. What have you done for yourself in this marriage?
Yes, I have had counseling individually. My next process was to do the emotional, which is the one you guys announced.
Yeah, emotional freedom.
Right. A workshop.
Yeah.
I think then that was the next thing for me to do for myself.
Okay. Well, Anna, you hold on and we'll get you connected with that, with the information for the workshop. It's online, Emotional Freedom in March. And you know, Anna, this is it. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I said, okay, that's great.
Yeah, great. And we'll send you a copy of Take Your Life Back as well. You know, we don't want to make any decisions when we don't have clarity. And we get clarity through a process and with other people who not only just love us, but also love the Lord and are willing to speak some truth into our lives. We can't do this in a vacuum. And, you know, that connection is really a really important part of that decision making. We'll be right back after this.
When you give to the New Life Scholarship Fund, you're giving someone hope for a brighter future.
I was kind of in the closet and hid with my struggle. Your donation really made the difference, especially in my situation, because I would have getting laid off from my job.
At the New Life Intensives, hurting people are able to begin a new path towards healing and freedom that has an effect on all of those around them.
I think the people who support New Life financially are people that I'll never know. You know, I'll never be able to thank them personally for the gift that they gave to us. Their giving saved me, my husband, and our family from being torn apart.
To help hurting people to connect to the help they need, make your gift to the Scholarship Fund at newlife.com or by calling 1-800-NEW-LIFE and specifying scholarships.
Someone called and sponsored me to come this weekend. Whoever that is, just know that you saved a life. Literally, you saved my life.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
I was sort of vaguely familiar that the 12 steps had some origination in the Bible. I found Life Recovery, and one of the things I liked so much was that it had such a broad appeal. It wasn't limited to just alcohol or drugs, that it was addressing a wide range of problems.
At New Life, we believe everyone can benefit from a life recovery experience. There are life recovery groups all over the country. They take place online, in conference calls, and in person. And if there isn't one in your area, we can help you start one. We have startup materials, leaders' guides, CDs, Bibles, and more, all with discounts available for groups. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE and ask for Terry Ward. The 12 steps have long been a great help to people in recovery because much of the 12 steps' power comes from the fact that they capture principles clearly revealed in the Bible.
The 12 steps is really a pattern for all of us as Christians.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
I'm Steve Arterburn with a New Life Moment. You know, love has many components and dimensions. It's not all emotion, and it often takes a great effort. One dimension of love that requires great effort is the act of forgiveness. Wow, it's tough. Love, in its most liberating form, forgives. Forgiveness can be simple, or it can be difficult and complicated. It has its best chance to present itself when one has learned it from a parent over years of observation. If children are to be forgiving, their parents must teach them the art of forgiveness. Every day, in thousands of ways, children are asking parents, "Do you forgive me?" Dashed expectations often lead parents to consciously or unconsciously give the message, "You are not forgiven." What message are you communicating to your kids? The Bible gives us a beautiful example of two boys who were taught to forgive through the example of a father. To learn more, visit newlife.com. I'm Steve Arterburn, and thanks for listening to this New Life Moment.
It's so great to hear from Steve, even though he's on sabbatical right now. And I hope that you all join and pray as he has this time of restoration and just healing. You know, he's been working hard for 35 years, bringing us truth and leading the charge here at New Life. And we're just so grateful to give him this time just to be with his family and to join us again after he's off of sabbatical. But in that call, the idea of forgiveness is something we talk about here all the time. And on a recent show, we talked about the difference between forgiveness and reconciliation gets confused many times. And so we want to have that clarity of forgiveness is for us. Reconciliation would be a whole different process with the other person or people that we have experienced pain with. But, if you have any questions about that, we're always just ready to answer in so many ways. Right now, we're going to go back to the calls because we like to answer them. We're going to talk with Eddie, who's calling us from Orlando and the Sunshine State, and he watches us on YouTube. Hello, Eddie. How are you, and how can we help you? Are you there,
Hello?
Eddie? Oh, there you are.
Hey, apologies. Hey, some headline came in. Hello, Becky. It's always nice to hear your voice because, when you call and New Life people call and thank the New Life members, it's always a joy to hear your friendly voice.
Oh, thanks, Eddie. Thanks. We're glad that you're part of the Club New Life family. How can we help you today?
Well, I'm just calling with an attitude of gratitude because I'm thankful. I think I go way back to being a member, listening to New Life, learning so much from it, and then becoming a Club New Life member back when the guys were known as the boys many years ago. But I'm so thankful because why I keep giving? Because I keep learning, and I'm so thankful for all the lives that you touch every day and the people's lives. So when I get to still hear the radio show, it's just so encouraging to my heart. And and I've embedded in my heart the Arterburn axiom. So it's a delight for all the teaching. And one reason I give? Because I feel like sometimes I'm hiding behind a counselor's couch, listening to all this great information and not paying. So my guilt of all this great advice is alleviated by being a Club New Life member.
I love it, Eddie. I love it, and I appreciate so much not only your enthusiasm for New Life, but also for people. I know that with us together, Club New Life, as well as all of our listeners, we're making a difference in the world. God is reaching people, and we're encouraging people. I'm so glad you called today. I'm going to send you a copy of the Life Recovery Devotional Journal, which is it's a daily, there's scripture, there's a devotional, there's prayer, and it's all wrapped around recovery. And we're just so grateful to be able to offer that and want to send that to you. Eddie, thanks so much for calling today.
I love you guys.
Can I piggyback on what Eddie said?
Yes, of course.
Because the callers, the listening audience may not be aware of this, but we as hosts do the same thing, Eddie. We listen to each other. We go, "Oh, that was good. Oh, I'm going to write that down. I'm going to save that for later," because we really do get to hear some amazing wisdom from God's Word, amazing wisdom from years and years of experience, and we're really, really grateful that we have this opportunity and that New Life has been on the air for so long, helping people for so long. So thank you for giving.
Yeah, thank you so much. Well, we're going to go back to the calls, and we're going to talk with Lucy, who's calling us from Los Angeles, California. Listens on KKLA. Hi, Lucy. How can we help you today?
Hi, I'm calling because I've been married for 4 years, and throughout the years, I've asked him to share his finances with me because I budget myself every month, so I've been very good at saving, and my goal has always been for a house. And so I thought, I knew he had school debt because he went to private university and he's currently working on his master's, but I wasn't aware of much else. I didn't know how much. And it wasn't until this weekend when he shared the debt with me, his finances and how he spends. And it really overwhelmed me with negativity. And so he has about $75,000 of debt, and $15,000 of that is credit card debt, which is just reckless spending. And so I feel very negative. I feel angry. I feel burdened. And so I looked at his finances, and I was able to move around $700 within his finances to go towards the debt. And so
Lucy, hold that thought. You can hear the music. We gotta go to a break, but we're going to come back on the other side. I can hear the pain in your voice. This is a form of betrayal. And to have these conversations are so important in the life of a couple. We're going to help you after this break. Thanks for calling.
We all have struggled with weight problems all our lives. This involves not only the health side of it, but the spiritual side of it.
If you're ready to begin a comprehensive plan that provides freedom in every area of your life, New Life's Lose It for Life online intensive can help. This online intensive features Zoom sessions presented by Steve Arterburn and Elena Al-Sharu on Saturday, January 27th, plus 4 small group process sessions facilitated by a credentialed New Life Network counselor.
Of all the things, the best part for me was the small group time.
If you're finally ready to stop going from diet to diet and begin a comprehensive plan that addresses the psychological, emotional, and spiritual aspects of a healthy lifestyle, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or go to newlife.com.
It is a life change. It is not a diet. It is not just a plan. It is a life change.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
I have given to New Life regularly because I have so many people that I am referring to New Life who so benefit from the ministry. I just can't imagine what would happen in my area if New Life wasn't available to us.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the new member thank you gift of all 8 100-day devotionals, including 100 Days of Prayer, 100 Days of Freedom from Depression, and 100 Days of Peace. There are also ongoing benefits like the monthly Club New Life CD or download, access to the Club New Life video library, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, discounts on workshops, and quarterly online meetings with Steve. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back. You know, one of the commercials we just heard was for Lose It for Life, and we are going to do that tomorrow online. It's not too late to sign up. If you are hearing this during our regular airtime, or even up until 7:30 tonight, Friday, Eastern Time, we will get you connected with our Lose It for Life online intensive. It could be the best thing you do this January. So check us out at newlife.com or call us 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We are currently talking with Lucy, who has discovered a secret in her marriage of only 4 years. And Lucy, we didn't really get to your question. So I hear that there is this debt and you're trying to figure out what to do. How can we best help you? What is the question that you have for us?
So I have 2. One is, how can I help him without enabling him? And then the second is, how can I process or manage my emotions? Because I just feel very negative towards him. I feel resentment, and that's not going to be healthy or helpful to our marriage.
Well, Lucy, like I said, betrayal is what you're dealing with right there. Laura, let's start with you, and let's talk about that emotional response that comes with the betrayal.
Right. Well, I'm so sorry, Lucy. It's just horrible to come across a secret. You know, secrets make us sick, and that's because betrayal breaks down the molecular structure of our cells. And I want you to know that betrayal is a real issue. I'm so glad that Becky said that, and a lot of women don't know that. So the response you're having, God gives us anger to protect ourselves. And so your anger is legitimate. Now, what we want to do is we want to channel it in a way to kind of get you out of the ditch and not just keep on pressing down on the gas pedal and staying stuck in the ditch. So I'm curious, what was his response when you found out? Was he going, oh my gosh, I should have told you, I was afraid to tell you? Did he say anything when you discovered this?
He's the one that showed them to me, because I kept asking and asking, and he finally showed them to me, and I told him what is, and I was kind of in shock and speechless, and he said, I'm sorry, I know I've been irresponsible with my money, and I want to get better, and I want to take care of my family. And so he was apologetic, but
well, he got caught kind of because you kept on pressing him, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so he hasn't been truthful. He's lied. He hasn't been forthcoming, and that's lies by omission. So again, I want to just really validate your anger and shock and kind of feeling discombobulated here, right? That's all totally legit. But I also heard, I'm wondering if you're a little bit of a fixer. I also heard that you went in and you found a way to found $700 and move it around to kind of offset.
Right.
Oh, Laura, we lost your audio. We're going to switch over to JJ. Lucy, just to say one more thing till Laura comes back, is that anger has a place, and so we want to find a healthy way so that the resentment doesn't take root, because I think that's what you're concerned about, is that you don't want this to be something that you guys have to deal for the next 40 years. You want to have resolution and reconciliation. JJ, what would you say as far as how can she help without enabling him?
Yeah, well, I want to jump to that, but first I want to just build on what you were just saying, Becky, because it is important to recognize that the anger has its place. Part of the way I don't let it turn into resentment and bitterness is by letting the anger take me to what's underneath, right? I drill down past the anger to, I probably feel hurt and betrayed.
Mm-hmm.
I might also feel even a sense of my own self-contempt, foolishness, that I let him lie to me for this long. I walked into the marriage without this information. Like, there's some of that I need to deal with as well. Okay, so just wanted to say that real quick. Now, we shift gears to how do I help without enabling? Number one, you need to make sure that there's a clear path for what he's going to do differently, not what you're going to do differently for him. So how is he going to change the way that he not only spends his money, that's important, but also the fact that he has been secretive and dishonest about his money. And so how is he going to rebuild trust with you so that there isn't this, I show you one thing, but I do something else over here, right behind the curtain. Right. No, we're going to have an open and honest dialogue about our money moving forward. There's always, we'll sit down, maybe it's on a weekly basis, a monthly basis, but we're going to sit down and go over all of the finances together so that there isn't this, my account and your account, what you know versus what I know. No, we're going to do it all together so that we have an approach together and that he takes the lead on that, right? It's not you having to hound him month after month. Hey, how come we haven't had that meeting? That he takes the lead to say, I know that I've broken trust with you about money and I need to rebuild that trust. And part of my rebuilding that trust is by me setting this meeting, me initiating this, not waiting for you and then responding to what you're requesting of me, but I'm going to take the initiative. I'm going to set the agenda here. I think that's part of the way that you keep out of the driver's seat. Give him the space to do that, but also be clear. I'm not going to be waiting around forever and ever and ever, for you to finally figure this out. Like, you need to take action now because there's a real problem that needs to be addressed.
JJ, what I'm thinking of is what we do with couples who've had sexual integrity issues. We do a disclosure with a professional. We have the couple sit together. There's somebody driving that car, to use your analogy. And so that, Lucy, you're not the one having to pull everything. But I think if this is a financial thing, the same truth applies. You get a person who is wise in finances, sits with the two of you, everything's out on the table, and we get a plan together. And it's not a one and done conversation. And, but going back, now that we've got Laura back, the feelings that you have, Lucy, are valid and they're appropriate. But Laura, how can she get some healing along with these steps that we're talking about?
Right, and of course I couldn't hear what was being said when my call dropped, but Lucy, again, your feelings are legit, and the concern I would have for you is that you're going to be triggered. because you all can even meet with a counselor and have something set up, but the in-between time, because I believe you're wanting to be proactive and take care of things, you're going to go, is he working on it like he said? Did he do this? See, and that's all of that is from being betrayed. So I want you to know it's not your being hard-hearted, unforgiving, or resentful. Your body is doing what it needs to do to protect you. So understand that. And also, I would really like, if you all haven't said it, for you all to go to Intimacy in Marriage, because your core patterns are being acted out here. There's a reason that he's secretive. There's a reason. There's something in his history, not excusing it, but I'm explaining it. Okay.
Right.
And the same with you, where you are the kind of fixer. Let me go in. Oh, I'm really mad about this, but I'm going to fix it so we both don't suffer here. Right. So I would really encourage y'all to go to Intimacy in Marriage to begin to learn about your core patterns. But you need a safe place, Lucy, to talk about those feelings, because you're going to be triggered, because now your body is on high alert. Oh, I trusted him, and then, oh my gosh, the person I trusted the most has hurt me the most. The person who was supposed to be protecting me has undermined me. So it's totally legit.
Well, and we're going to be right there in Southern California in February. And Lucy, I just want to say this towards your husband. You know, there is no, like, I don't want you to think that we're making him the bad guy. I understand that he did something wrong. And a lot of times what happens in marriages is that somebody's at fault. Yes, we see that he did something wrong. And I'm saying this because we care for him. We want him to experience the new life that God has for him. And I love the fact that he expressed his disappointment and apologized, but we want him to go further so that he can look back someday and say, that was where I was once, and I'm not there anymore. I mean, we help men do this all the time. We help women do this all the time. It's just, it's part of the human condition that we make mistakes. Is this helpful to you, Lucy? Are you still with us?
Yes, it is.
Good. Okay. All right. Well, hold on. We'll get you connected with the Intimacy in Marriage Intensive. I'm going to send you a copy of How We Love, which may seem strange because it's not a financial book, but finances is just one part of a couple's love language. I mean, you know, we talk different languages, but I think it'll help you guys as you start out. You guys are fresh into this marriage, and we want it to be good from this point on. We're glad you called. So helpful, Lucy. I think it's always something, and there's hope. We want to see the other side of this. We'll be right back after this break.
We all face days where life throws us a curveball and our routines or plans get disrupted. Things we wanted to do are forced to take a backseat to the unexpected demands of the day. If you normally listen to New Life Live on a radio station, well, you might not be able to that day. And on these hectic days when you're feeling stressed or frazzled, hearing the sound of counsel given on New Life Live is just what you need to navigate the unexpected things of life.
Every time I'm troubled or I have a problem, I'll cut on New Life, and there's always something that is said that is helpful to me.
By listening, I have learned more than I can ever express about how God wants me to live.
Download the New Life app for the easiest way to listen wherever you are and at a time that's convenient for you, or watch the show on our YouTube channel. You can even subscribe to our podcast from your favorite podcast provider. You never have to miss a day of New Life. Wherever you are, we are.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for over 34 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
I'm an addict, and I'm trying to get God in my life again.
Our Christ-centered treatment programs can help you break free to embrace all that God has for your life and your family.
I just want to thank you guys for bringing me to a relationship with Jesus.
There really is help for marital problems, depression, addictions, panic attacks, and feelings of hopelessness.
I came back with so many tools to help me prepare myself to fight this struggle and this battle that I have every day.
You can start living again today, living the life God intended for you. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
They did care, and they did follow up very lovingly, and it made all the difference in my life.
Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Someone who cares is waiting at the other end of the phone. God can open the door to a better tomorrow. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 639-5433.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back. There's lots of ways that you can listen. You can listen online, you can listen to the radio, you can download the podcast wherever you want. And we also have Every Man's Battle podcast that you can download now. JJ is one of the hosts on there. And we just want to stay in touch with you. We've been doing this for 35 years, and we want to keep doing it for 35 more because people will always have problems till Jesus comes home. Right now, we're going to go to a call from a previous show with Henry Cloud, Dr. Henry Cloud, and Steve. Terry, go ahead and roll that call.
Emma from KKLA, Los Angeles is the area. Hi, Emma. Welcome to New Life Live. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I'm really glad I got through today.
Well, we're glad you did too. How could we help you?
I feel like I want to get married again. I got divorced about 10 years ago. I have 3 boys, and it's been a long struggle. But now I feel like I want to get married again. The church tells me, oh, God wants you to be happy. I've searched the scriptures. I don't see where God says a woman can get married again. The culture says it, but I don't see it in the Bible. So I want to ask you because I figure you're experts on this, and I need an answer.
Well, tell us about your divorce.
He cheated on me and lied about it.
Okay.
And I know because I picked up an STD while I was pregnant.
Mm.
And I had not been with anyone else. And he also beat me up.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And when I was leaving him, I just, I had come back to the Lord. I had committed my life to the Lord. Didn't really know too much about, the Word and the Bible. But I felt that God was grieved, but I really didn't know what else to do.
Yeah. Okay, well, you certainly know that you were entitled to divorce, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Bible's very clear about that. Now, some people say that because Scripture doesn't say you're entitled to divorce and remarry, then you're not entitled to remarry. I don't agree with that. I mean, obviously, I was, due to a betrayal, I was divorced, and not my choice, and I remarried because I felt like if I had grounds for divorce, well then, even though I didn't initiate it, there were still grounds, it was unfaithfulness, then I was free to remarry. I don't think there's any difference between a man and a woman in that. But I want to hear Henry's take on this. What do you think, Henry? When a person has grounds for divorce, do they also have grounds for remarriage, or is the Bible saying just stay single the rest of your life?
Well, I think if you go to the passage, and I'm opening it right now. Jesus was kind of speaking in the context of all this. He said, if he divorces his wife and marries another,
mm-hmm.
and then that's when he gave the exception clause. He says, except for marital unfaithfulness.
Right.
So I have always seen it like, where there are those grounds for divorce, that the remarriage question is included in that.
Okay.
So that's the way I've seen it.
So how does that make you feel?
That makes sense to me because I can't believe God would give me the grounds to get divorced and just leave me hanging. There'd be no way for me to get remarried. That almost seems dysfunctional to me.
Yeah, well, a lot of things can seem, dysfunctional to us, and sometimes we don't understand God's standards. So even though I understand that, we ultimately have to depend on what He says. But if you go to Matthew 19:19, it says this: I tell you that anyone who divorces his wife except for marital unfaithfulness and marries another woman commits adultery. So, see, he put it all in the same sentence, even, and I think the way that at least I believe that's what that is saying. If anyone divorces his wife and marries another woman commits adultery, except for marital unfaithfulness. So it's all in there together. So that's how I've always seen it, and that's why I agree with what Steve is saying here. And I think that many good Bible scholars would agree with that.
And having said that, you got to go really slow and not jump into the thing, and be sure that you've introduced that person to a lot of people that can say to you, you know what, this isn't like this other situation. This is really different. You've grown.
Well, I tell you, that question continues to be asked over the, it was, we had a previous caller even today, should I stay married? What should I do? And there was adultery in that marriage. JJ and Laura, we're going to talk to couples at the Intimacy and Marriage Intensive in February in Southern California. And many of them, they've come from, situations like this, and that whole challenge of how do we connect? How do we know what God is saying for our marriage is an ongoing question. It's not like a one and done. We always have to be seeking the Lord for what direction does he have for us. But JJ, I'm going to start with you. What would you say to a couple who is thinking, we don't really need to go to an intensive. We don't fight. We don't really do any, there's no damage being done. We're going to stay married. We're going to ride this thing out. What would you say to them if they're thinking about this?
Well, gosh, it would break my heart if the highest goal for your marriage is just stay together and ride this out. Like, don't you want more? Don't you want passion and growth and tender love and understanding in your marriage? And you can have that. There are things that get in the way that make it hard for us to experience those things, but they are available, and God wants us to experience those things. And so I don't want us to settle for, well, we're gonna stick it out. We'll manage our way through this. No. I want to have a marriage, and I want to help others have marriages that are growing in love and passion and tenderness for one another.
I agree wholeheartedly. And Laura, that a lot of marriages are just another replication of what they saw in their parents' marriage. Help us all, right?
Mm-hmm.
Others. But what would you say to those couples who may not even realize that there is more that can be done in their healing journey?
Gosh, here's the place of marriage is so sacred, because the dynamics that hurt us so deeply are the same dynamics that empower us to connect so deeply also, right? Because we're exposed, we're vulnerable. And just like I want to circle back to the Hebrews again, 12:1, where it says that, to throw off anything that weighs us down. Well, and how that trauma will weigh us down. Well, guess what? Do you know when those races first started, we all know that they ran in that little bitty loincloth, but when they very first started, they ran naked. So we've got to be naked and exposed. And it's in that is so excruciating, but also offers us the avenue to be so deeply seen, heard, and understood. And that's why marriage is so beautiful, and that's why it's such a sacred, it's a sacrament. It's a holy place, and that God wants us to protect that. So if we will work that self-awareness, right? If we will work on ourselves, no matter what kind of work we need to do, it all begins with self-awareness. If we will start there, oh my gosh, we're promised that freedom. I can tell you personally, there's nothing greater than having the freedom to be me in my marriage.
Oh, I love that.
And
I love
to bring
that.
anything to my husband.
I love that. Well, we can teach you that, whether you need rescue in your marriage or restore or revive. We will see you in Southern California in February, and call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE or newlife.com and read all about what can be possible for your marriage. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, JJ. Thank you, listeners.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again on Monday for New Life Live.
Thanks for watching today. We love helping people. I hope you sense that. And we know that there's always hope if you find the right resource. Now, if something we've said to somebody else applies to you, that's fantastic. That's what we're hoping for. But also, if you want to join us directly, you can call 1-800-229-3000 between 1 and 3 Eastern Time, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Those are the best times to get through. And while you're here on YouTube, check out these other videos that we've done to help people see where they could grow or a different path to take. And if you do that, would you give us a thumbs up on the video, and please subscribe to this channel. There are many ways that we can help you outside of the radio program, and it's very hard for some to pick up a phone and dial 1-800-NEW-LIFE. But when you do, we put you in touch with somebody who cares about you, knows all the resources out there, and they're going to find the best for you. There is no reason to struggle alone. I hope to see you tomorrow. Hope you'll invite somebody else to come and join that maybe needs just a little bit of help along the way. I'll see you next time.